Hey everyone, welcome back to Secure Your Benefits. Today, we're diving into a very important and often misunderstood topic: Social Security benefits for non-citizens and immigrants. If you or someone you know is an immigrant living in the United States, you'll definitely want to stick around because there are a lot of rules, updates, and details that can directly impact your future benefits. Now, let's clear up something right away. Just because someone isn't a U.S. citizen doesn't mean they're automatically disqualified from receiving Social Security benefits. In fact, many non-citizens do qualify legally and fairly, but it depends on several key factors, including immigration status, work history, and how long they've lived in the U.S. So, let's start with the basics. The Social Security Administration (SSA) doesn't base eligibility solely on citizenship. Instead, the primary requirement is that a person must have paid into the Social Security system through payroll taxes under their own Social Security number. This means, if you've worked legally in the U.S. and had FICA taxes withheld from your paycheck, you're building credits toward your future benefits regardless of your citizenship status. To qualify for retirement benefits, the standard rule is that you need 40 credits, which typically translates to about 10 years of work. Each year, you can earn up to 4 credits depending on your income. For 2025, you earn 1 credit for every $1,730 of covered earnings, up to 4 credits for the year. So if a non-citizen has legally worked and paid taxes for 10 years and earned those credits, they may be eligible for retirement benefits just like a U.S. citizen. But here's where things can get a bit more complicated. While lawful permanent residents or green card holders generally have the same access to Social Security benefits as citizens once they meet the work and age requirements, other immigration categories face additional hurdles. For example, if you're in the U.S. on a temporary visa, like a student or guest worker visa, you might not qualify unless you transition to a status that allows you to remain and work long-term in the country. Now, let's talk about Social Security numbers. Some people who enter the U.S. may initially work using an individual taxpayer identification number (IN), which is not the same as a Social Security number. If someone worked using an IN and didn't have FICA taxes withheld, that work wouldn't count towards Social Security eligibility. It's crucial that your earnings are tied to a valid Social Security number and that you're working legally and having taxes withheld. There's also the matter of whether you can actually receive benefits while living outside the United States. Some non-citizens who qualify for benefits can receive them even if they move back to their home country, but not all. It depends on your country of residence and whether the U.S. has a totalization agreement with that country. A totalization agreement helps avoid double taxation and coordinates benefits between the U.S. and other countries. As of now, the U.S. has these agreements with countries like Canada, the UK, South Korea, and several others. If you're from one of those countries and qualify for benefits, you may be able to receive payments while living abroad. On the flip side, if you're from a country that doesn't have such an agreement with the U.S., there may be restrictions on whether and how long you can receive your benefits if you're not living in the United States. And even for green card holders, extended absence from the U.S. can impact your residency status and, by extension, your benefits eligibility. Another point worth discussing is survivor benefits. If a non-citizen dies and leaves behind family members like a spouse or children, those family members might qualify for survivor benefits under certain conditions. For example, a surviving spouse who is a non-citizen may receive benefits if they were married for at least 9 months and the deceased spouse had sufficient work credits. However, the survivor must either be a U.S. citizen or meet certain residency requirements to collect benefits, especially if they're living outside the country. Disability benefits work similarly to retirement benefits in that the applicant must have worked long enough and recently enough to qualify. For non-citizens, that also means being in a lawful status at the time they became disabled and ensuring that all prior work was performed legally under a valid Social Security number. The number of work credits required for disability benefits depends on your age at the time you became disabled. Younger workers need fewer credits than older workers. But again, the same rules apply: legal work, valid SSN, and FICA taxes paid. Let's also address undocumented immigrants, because this is a common area of confusion. Undocumented individuals are not eligible to receive Social Security benefits because their work, if any, is not reported under a valid Social Security number with proper tax contributions. Even if they pay taxes using an ITIN or other identification, those earnings don't count toward eligibility for Social Security benefits. That said, some undocumented workers do end up contributing billions of dollars to the Social Security system each year, even though they'll never be able to claim benefits themselves. It's a controversial and complex topic, but as of 2025, the rules have not changed in this area. There is one group we haven't yet mentioned: refugees and asylees. These individuals are often granted special considerations under U.S. law. Once granted asylum or refugee status, they are allowed to work legally and apply for a Social Security number. If they meet the work and age requirements, they can qualify for Social Security retirement, disability, and survivor benefits, just like permanent residents or citizens. In fact, because they're allowed to work and remain in the U.S. indefinitely, they have a clear path toward permanent residency and citizenship, both of which help reinforce benefit eligibility. Now, it's worth noting that the Social Security Administration continues to modernize and improve how it verifies work and immigration status. In 2025, the SSA is relying more heavily on data sharing with U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services (SSA) to ensure that non-citizens applying for benefits have valid documentation and work history. This has made the process more streamlined but also more stringent. If your immigration status isn't clear, or if your work history has gaps or inconsistencies, it's a good idea to seek legal guidance or visit your local SSA office for a review of your records. If you've recently naturalized as a U.S. citizen, it's important to notify the SSA of your updated status. This can help speed up processing and ensure you don't face unnecessary delays or issues when applying for benefits. Sometimes, people who naturalize forget to update their citizenship status with the SSA, which can lead to confusion down the line. And remember, Social Security is more than just retirement benefits. It includes spousal benefits, disability coverage, Medicare eligibility, and survivor protections. All of these programs have overlapping but distinct rules when it comes to non-citizens, so it's crucial to get accurate and timely information. That's why here on Secure Your Benefits, we're committed to helping you stay informed, protected, and prepared. So if you're a non-citizen living in the U.S., whether you're a green card holder, a work visa holder, a refugee, or someone on the path to citizenship, know that there are ways to qualify for Social Security, but it all comes down to legal work, proper documentation, and paying into the system. As of June 2025, no major changes have been passed by Congress regarding immigrant eligibility for Social Security, but proposals continue to circulate in Washington. We'll keep you updated right here if anything changes. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe to Secure Your Benefits and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates about Social Security, Medicare, and other programs that matter to you and your family. And if you have questions about your own situation, feel free to drop a comment below. We're here to help guide you with accurate, current, and reliable information. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.